Hello, I'm Teresha Young, relationship master coach, and welcome to Real-ationship Talk. He's just not that into you. I know that can be a hard truth, but it is a reality check. Sometimes we can feel like we are pouring so much into a connection, especially when we are in this dating world, this mind-boggling dating world, and it just doesn't feel like that person is giving back at the same level that you feel that you are giving or you would like to give. And you may think, oh, well, that's their loss anyway, I'm not bothered. And for some people, it can be really confusing, it can be upsetting, it can be frustrating, and also it can impact on people's level of self-esteem and their sense of worthiness. So today I would like to share with you 3 clear signs that it's highly likely that he is just not that into you. Now, one of those signs is a lack of communication. Communication is a vital aspect of any healthy relationship. And if he is just not into you, you may notice that there's a pattern of inconsistent and also minimal communication when it comes to your interactions with that person. For example, he may rarely initiate contact with you or may take a long time to respond to your messages, leaving you waiting and wondering as to what's going on. What's happening in his life? Have I said something to offend that person? Have I said something that has turned that person off? We can really start to question ourselves. So when you are also having conversations with this person, you may feel that it's quite superficial or it may lack some depth. And that could be a huge indication that there is a lack of genuine interest. You might get the robotic, how are you? Or how's your day been? And every single day is the same thing. How are you? How's your day been? And you just end up rolling your eyes to think, is there anything else you want to say? Or are they the only words in your dictionary, in your vocabulary? So pay attention as to whether he actively engages in meaningful conversations with you and really shows a curiosity and interest in what is going on in your life. That would give a good indication as to whether or not he is interested in you and he is into you. So if communication feels really one-sided or sporadic, then it could suggest that you are just not a priority in his life and in his thoughts at the moment. And he may not be invested in building a deeper connection with you. And again, communication is key. You have to understand the depth of communication that you would like in a relationship. We have to, give acknowledgement to when you are building a connection with somebody, particularly when you are in the dating world, that communication might not be as frequent. It might not be daily, for example, but as you get to know somebody, understanding the frequency behind that communication, understanding the depth behind that communication and what you like behind that communication will really help you to assess whether that communication style is aligned to your communication style if that person isn't meeting it. Now, the second thing is limited effort. So when somebody is generally interested in you, they put effort into spending time with you, wanting to have meaningful telephone conversations with you, video calls with you, so that you can create experiences and long-term memories together. However, if they're just not that into you, you may notice a lack of enthusiasm when it comes to planning activities or spending time with you. And one other pattern to notice is that they may consistently cancel or reschedule plans at last minute too. And that can show a huge level of a lack of commitment when it comes to somebody and also their reliability. So if it seems to you that they are disinterested in making an effort or getting to know you deeper, understanding your interests, that is one of the clear signs that they just might not be so into you or serious about taking this further. Another thing is that you may find that this person rarely surprises you or does thoughtful gestures in the connection with you. And if you don't feel desired or you don't feel special or you don't feel cherished in that connection, that can have a huge impact on the level of connection that you have with that person and the ability to nurture that relationship. So really pay attention to how much effort and how much initiative, because most people, in the whole, we're talking about the dynamics of a man-woman here as well, are looking for an empowered masculine man in his masculine energy who is taking initiative to plan dates or to show affection and to make effort. So if you feel that you are being constantly, because we're talking about like constantly here, feeling undervalued or feeling neglected, then that could be a sign that he just is not that into you. Now, the third sign is mixed signals. So mixed signals can be incredibly confusing, and it can be emotionally draining too, because it's that pull, push, that tugging, force, flow. Oh my goodness, you can just go into, I just don't know where I am. I just feel in complete limbo by this. And if somebody is serious about you and they are into you, they tend to be super consistent with their actions and also with their intentions. But if you are getting mixed signals, it's kind of indicating that they are being inconsistent, they're being uncertain, you've got all this ambiguity, you don't know whether you're here, you're there. For example, 1 minute he might be showering you with attention, compliments, messages, bombarding you like boom, 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 and you're getting all of this affection. And then the next minute, he's distant or he's aloof. The language has changed as well. And may even start ignoring you altogether. You may find that your communication again has changed, and for example, it takes a day or so for him to respond to you. So you're getting these mixed signals, and it really is unsettling. Nobody wants to be in that situation at all, because that erratic behavior can lead you in a state of anxiety, also depending on your attachment style here that you have here. Because if you've got an anxious attachment style, it may be really, making those anxiety levels increase there. But then also you've got to think, like, if you have a little bit of an avoidant attachment style, you may find that you start to create some distance there between you guys, because you're feeling a little sense of a lack of emotional intimacy or physical intimacy, whatever it is. So understanding your attachment style is important when it comes to navigating the dating world too. So when they are pulling away and giving you these mixed signals, it may make you feel like, how do they actually really feel about you? You might start to question their true feelings. So mixed signals can also be an indication that that person is keeping their options open and are not fully committed to you. And in a healthy connection, when I know in the dating world, people may be talking to several people at the same time. Equally, there is that level of respect, though, isn't there? And morals and just good manners. Hello, when it comes to communicating with people. So if they're not fully invested in you, they may be keeping their options open and not fully committed to getting to know you more. That is also a consideration. But we have to have everything in context here as to also, how long have you been dating this person or been in a relationship with this person too. But often there's a pattern. We have to think about the consistency, the reliability, the regularity, the frequency of all of these things that I am talking about here. So I just never like to just leave you there. What can you do? I want to empower you. If this is happening and this is your situation, what can you do? So if you do find that you are in this situation where you just not know whether this person is into you, and you looked at these signs, you think, so how can I handle it? Well, one thing you can do is to reflect upon your feelings. Take some time to really witness how you are feeling and what you need in this dynamic, what you need from somebody that you are getting to know. Are you happy with this? Is this connection bringing you more joy or more pain? No, if it's bringing you more pain, then you have to think, okay, how can I prioritize my own emotional well-being? And be completely, deeply honest with yourself into what you desire and what you deserve when it comes to a relationship. Another thing you can do is to set healthy boundaries and communicate your desires. So it's really important that you are able to set healthy boundaries and know what your desires are, your preferences, your limits, your non-negotiables, your values when it comes to a relationship. Because when you're not getting the level of commitment that you desire, you'll be able to communicate what those needs are. So you may think, oh, what is it that I need? But if you sit down and actually witness what you do need when it comes to your well-being, when it comes to your mind, your body and your spirit, what is it that you actually need to be able to thrive in a relationship with somebody? Then you can communicate that to that person and get an understanding as to whether it is something that they can fulfill for you. So when you are aligned with your boundaries, it's important to, hold true to them. Stay firm in your boundaries too. Of course, when you have a discussion with somebody, you may find that your boundaries might change. You may think, well, in actual fact, there's scope to have a little bit of flexibility, because as we grow in our relationships and as we grow as a person, our boundaries may change. Our values may change. What's important to us may change. Our desires, our goals, our dreams, that may all change. It is fluid. But being able to know where you are right now and what you do want going forward is super important. And also making sure that your boundaries do align with your values. So Again, these 3 signs, I wanted to just put a disclaimer out there, are not definitive proof that a person is not into you, but they will give you a framework to consider whether that person is into you, or maybe they're not quite into you. And they're going to give you some really valuable insights to show and to demonstrate somebody's level of interest. So use that as a stepping stone, as a framework to think, for example, is there a lack of communication? Is there limited effort? And am I receiving mixed signals? Now, remember, if after having that assessment and after open communication with that person, because again, there's an opportunity for you to express that person if they are meeting your needs, whether they're meeting your desires. You have to think about whether that is a really new connection. You might think, well, they're lost, move on, their rejection is a beautiful redirection for something better and greater for me. So you might have that approach too, or you may find that, this is actually something I do want to address with this person. You will use your discernment in that case. And if after you have a communication with that person and you still feel that your needs and your desires are unmet, it may be worth considering whether you stay in that relationship or in that dating experience. You may have to consider moving on from that relationship, because your worth and your value is so important, and your mental, your emotional well-being, your physical well-being too, is of super importance. And if you feel that you are being really not treated correctly, there's poor manners, poor behavior, and you just don't feel happy in that connection, then you have to prioritize your own happiness and your own well-being there. So I hope that has been helpful for you, and I am really, really curious as to whether you have experienced any of these 3 signs that I've spoken about today in your own connections or your relationships. And if so, how did you handle it? What did you do? What were the conversations like? Did you have a conversation? And also, what other signs have you noticed that indicate that somebody is just not that into you? Please do share in the comment section around this video. And if you're thinking you would like some personal help on an individual basis, I would be more than happy to have a direct conversation with you. You can visit my website www.tereshayoung.com, where you can book in some time. Alternatively, you can send me a DM. I am available across socials as Teresha Young, and I would love to see if and how I can help you. Until the next video, take great care of yourself and others too.